was smiling and shining and sometimes even crying happiness.
Wow.
And my husband was like, "What are you listening to? I want."
Hello, everyone. This is Jason from I Can Thrive, and I've got one of my clients here, Kristyna.
Oh well, so hello, hi there, everybody.
She's overcoming post-viral fatigue, and she completely healed it. And looking forward to sharing her recovery story right now. So, my first question for you, Kristyna, is what was your life like before you became unwell? So, what kind of things did you enjoy back then?
Oh, my life before the illness. I'm not actually thinking about my life before illness anymore because
Yeah.
now I have completely different life. But I
Yeah.
would say like pretty happy, pretty healthy. I'm originally from Czech Republic, and we moved with my husband to Austria, to another country, and we were really enjoying the nature here. We love hiking, cycling. We were traveling a lot around the world. So I think I was pretty happy and pretty okay with everything. The only problem maybe I would say was my job, but overall, just everything was fine. Everything was fine. Yeah.
Okay. When you became unwell, what were the first signs that, the first kind of symptoms that you're noticing, and what happened around that time?
Oh well, I think there are always two point of views. The first is the exact day when you become unwell, and the second is the time before that, where you get these signs that something is going on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it was 2 years before I became really unwell. I was always ill almost every second month or something like that. But I was thinking like it is okay. My job was stressful, and I was always on a go, and I was really sporty, and I was always pushing myself. So yeah,
Okay.
it was normal for me to be ill that often. But I would say like the 6 months before really becoming unwell, it was really heavy. I had a bunch of tonsillitis and Lyme disease, and I had a lot of antibiotics, and I also had panic attacks at the night. And this was the first alert for me
Okay.
that something is really going on with my nervous system. And I said to myself, okay, when it's not going to get better, I have to change something. But it got better. So I kept ignoring it, keeping pushing myself and investing all the energy into something I didn't like, my job.
Yeah.
And I thought everything will be fine again. Then it was actually exactly 1 year ago. I became unwell again at my job. I thought it was a normal virus. I had a sore throat. I was feeling weak. So I thought, yeah, I will stay in my bed for a couple of days and it will get better. But it wasn't. And it wasn't better after 1 week. And it wasn't better after 2 weeks. It was actually much worse after 4 weeks, and it wasn't better after 6 weeks. After 8 weeks, it was horrendous, really. But I have to say that from the very beginning, I felt like this is something different. This is some kind of virus I'm not familiar with, because I
I
had these
understand.
colds and viruses and flus and tonsillitis and everything. But I felt like this is different. It's funny to say that, but it was almost like my body was faking it. Or
Wow,
something.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
kind of like surviving, but just barely. I remember that kind of feeling as well. I just knew that there was something not right with my body, and
yes.
yeah, I didn't know what to do as well. I'm sure you had a lot of uncertainty around that time as well.
It was, yeah. So I started to visit all these doctors, as everybody does,
Yeah.
and it was actually the worst time because nobody had an answer for me. I'm sure you know that, and I was actually pretty healthy on a paper, and it was really hard to confront the doctors because they were saying you're totally fine, but I wasn't feeling fine. I
Yeah,
felt
you
like
knew there
there's
was something.
something really wrong with my body. And
And what were your symptoms?
Well, there were so many, and it was
Mhm.
changing almost every second day, I would say. So every time I made an appointment at the doctor, and the appointment was in 2 weeks, I already knew that I would have another symptoms than
Wow.
than I would
Okay.
guess actually. So
Mhm.
it was pretty crazy. But the fatigue, it was for 8 weeks at least. I couldn't wake up from my bed or go outside. So
Wow.
besides the doctor's appointment and so on, I couldn't do anything. And my husband, he never understood it. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling better today. And he was like, okay, so let's go cycling on a weekend. It was Wednesday or something.
Okay.
And I was like, no, 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 it doesn't work like that. And this was the most scary thing, that this illness is so unpredictable. It was like click, and I had to stop doing it, and I had to sit down, and I had to stay in bed, and it was really awful. So it was this fatigue. This was the worst. Then I had a really strong sore throat. I couldn't talk sometimes, and if I wanted to, I had to really squeeze my whole body to say something. It was so
Yeah.
exhausting for me, and I had this really weird pain all over my body, and it was moving, and it was almost everywhere, and I was waking up at the night because of this pain.
Okay.
This overall feeling of not being healthy, I cannot describe it, and I always try to describe it to the doctors. It was this feeling of being really horribly ill, really
Yeah.
this feeling all over your body, on your chest, in every muscle you have. This was this really weird feeling of, yeah.
Like a
and
deep
and I
fatigue.
also felt, yeah, and I also felt like my whole body was in a chaos. It was, oof, symptoms switching on and off, and it was different almost every day. So I couldn't rely on my body. I didn't know how I'm gonna feel the next day or next hour even.
Yeah.
It was this overall chaos in my body. I would describe it as a chaos.
What was it like for you at your worst? So, like, what would you be doing that day? What would it look like for you?
Oh, well,
I know
I
it's a long
always,
time ago now, but
yeah, it's,
yeah,
it is still hard for me to talk about it, and I don't like
I
to remember
understand.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But I was always trying to keep at my work, to work from home office, but it was not doable. It was
Okay.
really bad. But I would say lucky that I got ill in the middle of pandemic, so I could stay at home because everybody was at home. So it helped a little bit for me. But at my worst, I really had, I wouldn't describe my illness like a severe chronic fatigue or severe post-viral fatigue, but even that was
Pretty
really
intense. Hmm.
intense and horrible. I still was able to take a walk maybe for 10 minutes, but even that was really scary. Yeah, it was scary. And at my worst, I think it was like in January, a couple of months after I got ill. I was really, for a couple of days, weeks maybe, I was really just laying in bed. I couldn't focus on anything else. So I was just staring at the ceiling. I couldn't talk. I could say like few words or sentences in a day,
Okay.
and I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat because I was exhausted of chewing my food.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember my husband was amazing all the time, and he was preparing the food and everything, but I was, even when I had the food prepared, and or I took a banana or something like that, I was exhausted just from chewing this one bite. Yes,
Okay.
and it was for a couple of weeks like that. It was my worst. And
Hmm.
my husband was always very supportive, and he always stays chill. He's never panicking, and
He's the rock.
yeah, yeah, he's the
Yeah.
rock, really. The worst moment was when I was really laying in a bed. I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat anything, and he was sitting next to me, and he was crying that he has no idea what he should do with me, how he could
Wow.
help me. So this
Okay.
this is where I realized that this is really bad. This is really, really bad situation. When even he
Yeah,
was
even when your
already
husband, yeah,
really,
was
really
affected
down.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of things were you trying to get better? So what did you do initially? What was that like?
Oh, besides of visiting all the doctors on the planet,
Yeah.
it was really stressful because I always try to rationalize things.
Yeah, rationalize, yeah.
Yeah. So I was always searching for the diagnosis, and I was at one point I was completely okay with everything they would tell me. Just tell me my diagnosis and tell me you have this medication and or I don't know what, and I would be totally okay with everything, literally with
Right.
everything. But there was nothing, and I was pretty upset. And it was this combination of being upset and being in this fear because nobody had an answer for you and they didn't care really. It was like, well, from my point of view, you are okay. That's it. You are
Yeah.
close deal for
Unbelievable.
me. And they weren't even suggesting something to me. So it was really hard. But I made a couple of rounds at the doctors, and the last one was at the neurologist, and he initially diagnosed me with post-viral fatigue, and he referred himself to be chronic fatigue syndrome specialist in Austria. And literally all he said to me was just to pace myself. I didn't even know what does it mean.
Yeah.
And yeah. He was just, okay, you should rest and pace yourself, and that was it. He proposed to me that if it's not going to get better in a couple of weeks, which I knew it's not going to get better in a couple of weeks, he proposed me to try low dose naltrexone treatment. I don't know whether you have heard of it. And I got even worse in a couple of weeks. So I was so desperate. So I decided to contact him and to ask him that we can try this treatment maybe. And he actually never answered my emails or phone. So I took it as a sign that I shouldn't do that. And it was the last point where I realized, okay, I'm done with doctors. I have to do it on my own. Yeah, and that was the time when I discovered a completely new world for me, your channel and other YouTube channels where a lot of people with post-viral or chronic fatigue syndrome are talking about their recovery stories.
Awesome.
And it was really like a holy grail for me. So I took a couple of things that resonated with me. Well, what I tried was, because I knew from the very beginning that I always believed in this body and mind connection, even before I knew anything about brain retraining. So I always knew from the very beginning that I have to somehow work with my mind to recover fully. And besides that, I did like hot and cold showers and dry brushing and juicing, some yoga, and then of course like meditation, hypnosis, auto hypnosis. Yes. I just tried to calm myself down as much as I can. And I also took billions and billions of supplements. It was crazy.
We all have tried that in the past, of course. When
I even had to hide it from my husband because I got package from the postman like every single day almost. And my husband was thinking that I'm driving crazy. It was ridiculous amount of supplements and it was ridiculous amount of money, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, also the doctors, the specialists here and everything, it was really, really expensive. Yeah, so I wouldn't say I tried like one huge specific thing, but I did like these little things every day to have this holistic approach. Yes. But I was focusing more on my mind. It really helped me when I was listening to meditations or something like that. These were these moments where I felt really calm down, at least not healthy, but calm down. So this was like the sign for me that this could be the way.
Very good. And so when you started my brain retraining program, what was the progress that you were noticing straight away?
Well, it was strange because I started your brain retraining program and I traveled at the time to Zanzibar because I was just laying in a bed and I was like, when I should lay. And at the time I had to quit my job because I was physically not able to do it anymore, which was a huge part of my recovery, I would say. But I traveled to Zanzibar and there we took the first brain retraining round. And it was a little bit disturbing for me because I was at the beach and everything was okay. So I was not focusing that much on my body. So I would say I started 2 weeks after when I came back and I was at home, and this is where the hard work started. I would say I saw the first results quite quickly, but I wouldn't say on a physical level, but on a mental level. I was waking up smiling, shining this good energy, and I was smiling the whole day. I took a walk. It was exactly the same round I took every single day during my illness, but this time I felt
It was
different.
different.
Yeah, I was smiling, and I got so many compliments in first 2 weeks on my
Wow.
energy, and yeah, and everybody was like, "You look so different. You look so happy, and you look much healthier, and you are just shining, and your energy is amazing, and everything." Even my husband was like, "You're much livable weight now," or something like that.
Enjoying your company. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And I was also listening to your audios a lot in the first couple of days. And I was just sitting on my couch listening to your audios. And I was smiling and shining and sometimes even crying happiness. And,
Wow.
and my husband was like, "What are you listening to? I want to listen to
You
as
want
well."
some of that?
Yeah. What is it?
Okay,
Yeah, so
awesome.
it was the first, these were the first signs that something is going on. I wasn't feeling that much better on a physical level, but mentally I was completely in a different place. So,
You're
and
resetting your mind first.
yes, yes. And the body came then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had this pain all over my body the
Mm.
whole time. And I remember like after 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, this pain was disappearing.
Mhm.
And I was almost like, because you're so used to it, and I was almost like searching for it when it disappeared. I was like, where is the pain in
Yeah.
the body? Where is it? What is happening? Because I couldn't leave that,
Yes.
which is quite dangerous because I should be happy that I don't have this
Of
pain.
course, of course.
But I was like crazy. This is how crazy it is, really.
Yeah, how
You're,
powerful your mind is.
yeah, because you're so
Yeah.
used to it that your
Mhm.
body is not okay, and
Mhm.
it was the biggest struggle for me actually at the end. Even a couple of months after the recovery, I had my ups and downs, and this is why I think that your program is so special. Because to be honest, at the very beginning, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna learn it from your online program. Then we can talk about it, and then I don't need to talk to you anymore every week. But actually, it was so helpful because every week and every single day, I had so many questions because it really wasn't that easy for me to learn it, to do
Initially,
it
yeah.
right, to keep myself motivated. And I wasn't, for example, I was always comparing my day to the day before, and I was like, well, I don't feel that much different. But when I looked at myself
Week,
weeks ago,
month, yeah.
then I saw the huge
Mhm.
difference. And I also remember at the very beginning that I wish I would be the one who will recover within days or weeks. I
I
was
was the
so,
same.
yeah, I was so desperate after first day that I'm not significantly better.
Okay.
So I was calling you or something like that.
Yeah, I remember reassuring you, letting you know that this is normal, you're totally on track and you've got
Yeah,
it. And yeah,
it's
my
really
belief
normal.
in your recovery was
Yeah,
always 100%.
and it
Yeah,
sounds so funny to me right now because however long it takes, it's worth it
absolutely.
every day. Yeah.
What do you think were some of the patterns that kept you stuck that you're using the brain retraining to completely change?
Wow, like I remember really, I don't know, it's like being addicted to this illness, or I don't know, I cannot
Just
describe
a
it.
familiarity, I suppose.
Yes, yes. But I woke up every day, and the first thing I was doing was just checking on my symptoms. How do I
Habits.
feel today? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was really crazy. And I couldn't switch my mind off. And this was really bothering me. And also I was focused too much, I would say, on the illness, on the past, how healthy I was, how wonderful life I had. And I wasn't focusing on my future, I would say,
Okay.
because I thought I didn't have any future. So I was stuck in how bad I am today and how great
Okay.
it was before the illness. So yeah, that was it.
When did that start to change for you, your mindset around recovery and looking forward to getting better?
Well, I would say almost immediately with the brain retraining, because I finally had I had such a strong belief in this approach. And even if it wasn't that easy and that quick and everything, I had such a strong belief, and I just focused only on the future. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. I haven't even realized how much under stress I was until I was doing the brain retraining. But during the brain retraining, I was always seeking for this calm feeling on my chest.
It's a feeling of like peacefulness, and your chest feels kind of like open, and there's a lightness quality to it as well.
Yeah. So I was always searching for this feeling. When I started to do the brain retraining, I first time felt really relaxed, absolutely relaxed. I was, for example, imagining myself to having a massage. And even when I took a real massage, then I wasn't that relaxed as the brain training.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but
Amazing.
I haven't realized until that I was constantly stressed out and full of fear, I would say. Yeah, the stress was huge, and I knew it from the very beginning. I knew it. I always knew it, that the stress factor was huge for me. Yeah.
It was the same for me as well. As I was starting to get better, I actually realized, when I started to use brain training for relaxation, then I started to really realize, oh wow, actually I was hugely stressed. The ironic thing is, if someone had asked me if I was stressed or not when I was ill, I probably would have said no.
Yeah.
Because that stress, I had experienced it for so long that it felt normal. It felt kind of,
Exactly.
yeah, it's amazing. And then when I started to feel more relaxed, then I was like, whoa, this is what relaxation really feels like,
Yes.
which is totally incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of things have you done since getting better? So what kind of things have you enjoyed? Activities, adventures?
Yeah, so I love cycling. I bought a new bike just week or 2 weeks before I got ill, and I literally thought that I have to sell it.
So what was the feeling like when you were starting to cycle that? Wow.
Yeah, so I was like in 2.5 weeks in brain training, and I was first time cycling my new bike, and I was just crying all the time. And
I remember you sending me a photo, and you had tears coming down your cheeks, totally excited and happy.
It's just to cycle on my bike for 15 minutes or something like that, or and I was feeling this gratitude. It was so overwhelming. It was the purest happiness I've ever felt, really. It was amazing. And also skiing was my biggest dream.
Skiing, yeah.
I went skiing about 3 weeks in brain training, but I don't want people to think that okay, I was so okay in 3 weeks that I went skiing. It was not that easy, and I was really gentle to myself, and I was really resting a lot, but I was able to do that, and I haven't got worse the next day. So, and I was really enjoying it. I had no fear to do it.
Okay, so you were following your joy. You're doing things that you really enjoy.
Really doing just what brings me joy and what makes me happy, and it was excellent. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, that's a huge part of healing. I was doing that as well. I remember I was ill for so long, like 11 years, and I was inside most of those 11 years. So I wanted to be outside like 24/7, enjoying doing all kinds of activities. And I think hiking was the biggest thing that I enjoyed. So I was doing that pretty much each day. As much as possible, and completely enjoying it, and then going on holidays. I remember spending a month and a half in Portugal, just rewarding myself for putting in the effort when I was getting better, and celebrating my health and my healing as well. So what does it feel like now to be fully better?
I've made so many things I couldn't even imagine at the beginning of this year, really. I was like, okay, always knew that I'm gonna be better, that I'm gonna recover, but I didn't know when. I couldn't even imagine that I will enjoy this summer on my bicycle, hiking, traveling, visiting my family. Really, not even in my wildest dreams. It is amazing. But as you said, yeah, it was this strange period of time where I really had to get used to it again, that I'm healthy. Even when I talked to some of my friends, yes, I was doing yoga 1 hour today, and then I went for a walk for, I don't know, 20,000 steps or something like that. They
Yeah.
were like, wow, I have never made such a thing in a day. That's a
Wow.
lot because I'm sitting in office the whole day. So even the
That's just an
healthy,
average day for you,
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So even the
Awesome.
healthy friends were like, "Wow, that's really
That's a
huge." But it
lot.
was really,
Yeah.
yeah. But I wasn't expecting that. It was really strange. It was really strange feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I think it takes a little bit of time to realize that you're fully better. I think those various moments where I started to realize it. I think when I was able to hike for about 8 or 9 hours in one day, I was thinking that's a little bit unusual, but I still wanted more evidence that I was fully better.
Yeah,
So I think I went to like a Tony Robbins event after getting better. And then I think it was like something like 12 or 14-hour days, some of the days at this event. Like it's pretty intense, it's totally awesome. But yeah, I did that and I realized that actually most of the other people that were there were like tired and
yeah,
fatigued. And I was like still ready to go, like full of energy and everything. And I wasn't pushing myself either, which is totally amazing. So, and that's something that I'd like to talk about next is how important do you feel that self-compassion is to recovery? What was that like regaining that self-compassion and becoming better and better at that?
I do things now I love, but with totally different feeling. I don't have to prove myself or something like that because I did it in the past. I wouldn't admit it, but I did it. I was doing quite a lot of stuff just because to prove myself that I'm strong enough, that I'm good enough, and I'm superwoman, making business and then go hiking for 20 hours at a weekend,
Yeah.
being at a meeting at 9 a.m. again on Monday
Wow.
in full mood. So yeah, it's a huge, it's huge. And this is what I learned. One of the million things I learned, I would say.
Yeah, self-compassion is huge. Something else that I'd like to ask you is what kind of lessons or understandings that you've gained along the way in healing? What would you like to share with other people?
What I learned, what I took from that is
Yeah.
that I really, and it sounds like a cliche, but to love myself. I've
Yes.
never felt this way. I would even say that my healing journey was quite selfish time, I would say, because I was taking care only on myself and only
It
doing,
seems like it, but it's necessary. Yeah.
yeah, but it was really necessary. And I was like,
Yeah, you have to be number one, your health, your healing,
yeah,
and your happiness.
I was completely number one. So this is what I really learned, to be gentle to myself and to really listen to my body. This is what I learned. Feeling this gratitude and being thankful for what my body does for me. And I even had this little ritual in the evening during my recovery that I was always like giving myself a big hug and
Ah, self-compassion.
being
Okay.
thankful, yeah, being
Yeah.
thankful for my body. And I even apologize to my body. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've done this to you. Really, I'm sorry you were under a lot of stress, and I'm sorry I
Yeah.
always listen to you, because it really felt like my head was splitted from my body. It was so weird, and I
I
was,
understand. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was ignoring it for such a long time, and now I feel like I'm one person finally,
Yeah,
or one
exactly. Which
mind
feels
finally.
amazing, I'm
Yeah,
sure. I remember, like, I felt like I was living from here up. I was basically living in my head when I was ill because I didn't want to feel any of the symptoms. I was
yeah,
basically kind of disconnected from my body. And even in the past before that, when I was really driven with that achiever pattern before I got ill, I wasn't really listening to my body. So that was
yeah.
a big part of the reason why I got ill in the first place, and probably the majority of people are the same as well. But as I started to do the brain training, I started to, reform that connection and start to listen to my body again.
And
You know,
it's
it's just
suddenly,
about responding to it.
yeah, and it's suddenly
Yeah.
so obvious,
Yes.
like it's louder, or yeah, you can
Yeah.
hear it much clearly or
Exactly.
something like that.
And
Yes.
you start to listen to that and to put that as like the most important thing in your life at that moment. rather than thinking, oh, I should be doing this and this and this and this. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what are you looking forward to in your near future? I'm sure you're looking forward to all kinds of awesome things.
Yes, well, it's also good to know that I have this amazing tool now. Like I feel whatever happens, whenever I'm ill again or anything happens,
A cold or virus or whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
I have this amazing tool to overcome it. I gained so much confidence with this, with my body and my ability and everything, that I'm not so. I was really fearful. I was really anxious in my past. And now I'm not that anxious anymore because I feel like I can do everything, really.
Yes. Fantastic.
Because overcoming this illness is really one of the hardest things.
Right. Going through it. But yeah, on the other side, my
Yes.
goodness, you're capable of anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like
Yeah.
everything, I'm so happy for everything right now. I already told that at the very beginning I was really crying because I managed to wash the dishes or something like that.
Yeah.
Not cry over it right now, but I really try to remember myself every single day that it was an amazing day, and the next day will be also amazing. And I'm just really enjoying my life, completely different. Yes, and yeah, and as I said, I'm pregnant now.
Wow. Awesome.
So that's
Fantastic. Congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's also something really huge. Yeah, so a lot of things are ahead of me, and I couldn't even imagine how different would it be. Looking a year ago back,
Right.
where I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
and where I am now is really amazing. It's really amazing. Sometimes I think this illness was meant to be just to, yeah, force me to do something, or just to change something. Yeah,
Right.
maybe that maybe
Yeah.
maybe I it was really horrific, and I wouldn't like to.
To wish it on anyone. Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
no, absolutely not. But sometimes I think to myself that it had to be like this to have
To
the life.
become the person that you are now.
Yeah, yeah, to
Yeah.
become the person I am right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of lessons in it. There's a lot of learning in that healing, that growth. And yeah, I honestly think I completely think the same way. The way that I used to live life, achieving so much, not looking after myself, not being self-compassionate. And I think perhaps my career as well, the change of career that I had was huge.
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, it was okay. The work that I was doing before was all right. There was a lot of positive points to it actually, but it didn't really fulfill me like my job does now. My goodness, helping people, like getting better from chronic fatigue.
it's
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, it's
incredible.
amazing. It's
Absolutely
really
incredible. It
much fun.
absolutely lights me up. I love it.
And you're really, it's amazing what you are doing. It's,
Thank you so much. Total pleasure helping you. You're a champion, absolute champion. You
thank
put
you.
in all the effort, so well done. So one last question that I have for you is, if someone was thinking about signing up for my program, what would you say to them?
Oh, don't wait. Do it right now. I was also waiting, I would say, but I want to be totally honest. But there was some point where I almost became comfortable with the stage of my illness. I
Wow.
was
Okay.
like, okay. I was like, okay, I can go for a walk for 1 hour. I got depressed, obviously, because I
Of
had
course.
no life. So I lost my motivation. And at one point, it was really just few days, I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can live like this. And it
Wow.
was the scariest moment because
Mhm.
I knew I was losing hope and motivation. And
Mhm.
then I was scrolling through your videos, and I saw this video on your channel. Don't wait to hit the rock bottom, I think.
Yes. Yes. I was saying about basically, it took me 11 years to get to rock bottom, to get to the point where I was willing to do whatever it took to get better.
Yeah,
And I was saying, you know what, I wish I didn't wait for rock bottom. Like,
yeah,
why wait for rock bottom? You can create the changes now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was it. And that was it. That was where I decided to
Awesome.
sign up for the program, because I was like, no, I cannot wait to be even worse, something like that. So don't wait, and yeah, get your life back. It's totally worth it. It's your life is
Yeah.
worth it. You don't deserve to sit on your couch or lay in your bed for your whole life. You deserve it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
truly live again.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom, your guidance with everyone, and your inspiration. I'm sure people are going to be completely inspired by your story. So thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
for everyone watching, I'd really like you, if you could do one thing for me, it would be to share this video with your friends, with anyone who's overcoming chronic fatigue or post-viral fatigue or fibromyalgia, and letting them know what's possible, that they can actually get better as well, that there is hope, there are answers, there are strategies, and let's do it. All right, so thank you so much, Kristyna. Bye-bye, everyone. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.